Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 163. This I'm reviewing pretty much episodes 55 to 58 of Gorenger, plus I'm also going to discuss the one and only Gorenger film that was an original story, because all the rest of the movies were, get this, adaptations. They basically take episodes of the show and they make them movie format. Yep. Now, episode 55, let's go with this one. This episode is noteworthy for three things. Number one is the last appearance of the original actor to play Black Cross Fuhrer. Yep, he leaves with this very episode. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason they replaced him with... Now, his original actor was Masuku, and then now he did the first 55 episodes. Yes. Now, as for why in the world he left the show, he probably felt as though it was time. It was possible, but I'm not really sure. But for pretty much the rest of the series, he is basically, including the movie, he's played by Nobu Yona. Yep. Who pretty much in the way basically played him for the rest of the series. And he also popped up in Shock. Yep. Yeah, that's one noteworthy thing about episode 55. Another one, we have the first regular appearance of Commander-in-Chief Golden Mask. He did make a cameo at the end of episode 54, but this is the first proper episode for this character. Yep. Yeah, so he's pretty much an Egyptian-themed villain, which is the first of like two, I think, of in the franchise. The other being the Grand Marshal from the series, from the one I think it was Gogo 5. Yes. Now in this one we see the first four monsters under this guy's tenure. We have Big Ear Mask, Faucet Mask, Birdcomb Mask, and Porabellic Mask. Yes. Now with basically the first one, Ear Mask. Now you might be curious though, what is the base operations for the Black Cross Army? Because the previous one's been destroyed by the Gorengers. Well, it's this random cave they're basically headquartered in for a little bit until they get the new proper base. There's hints at possibly in episode 58 what the base could be, but they don't want to go into it at all. But as for the monsters themselves, first up, Big Ear Mask. Well, who's obsessed with beauty? Yes, seriously. Now, this guy, apparently they go back to the early stuff for Gorenger, where they try to use a blend to unleash a virus that was basically found in the tomb of Tutankhamun. Heck, they even have this little like fortress they have called the Statue of Tutankhamun, which of course the Gorengers do find after apparently 0010 apparently found a place before, but was not able to get the right info of the password because they said desert, gold, pyramid was the password. He thinks it's Egypt. Nope, incorrect. But then the Gorengers come in, and they actually have the correct password. Yep. Which is basically the Mankind Annihilation Plan, aka the Curse to Tutankhamun. Yep, and there's a statue of him. Now, I should point out, though, when it comes to Tutankhamun, I never heard of him actually having statues that look like a freaking sphinx. I have seen pictures of Tutankhamun. I've seen pictures of his mask, basically, he was actually buried in. Both him and his late wife. Yes. Which I actually heard he actually married her just prior to his death. He was actually a teenager. He was the youngest pharaoh to die to date. Now, why in the world did they come and stuff? I don't know. As for supposedly based on a virus that came out of the tomb, that part is actually true. Yes, that part is definitely 100% true. It was rumored that this bacteria basically caused the death of several people who were involved with the project. As a matter of fact, the head financier, he died like less than a year after basically the tomb was opened. The archaeologist basically just died of basically, I think he committed suicide, I think it was, but yeah, definitely was a curse. Well, I heard also over the years, people were allowed to go into the tombs, and then at one point, the Egyptian government, from what I've heard, actually closed, like, people going inside the tomb itself. The reason? Apparently the hieroglyphic walls have been falling apart. That's the reason I heard. So people can see it from a distance. It just they can't touch it. And it's not due to virus, whatever's going on right now. It's basically to protect people there. Uh, I don't think the tomb is anything inside of it currently right now because everything that was inside of it has been emptied out. Now, what I've heard also about the tomb is that it was the first Northy tomb that actually had everything still inside of it. And it was one of those rare tombs that actually was never raided by grave robbers over the centuries. Yeah, because everybody else has been raided. But Tutankhamun's? No. Because he's one of the rare people buried in the Valley of Kings. That's where he was buried. Yep, and his body, I believe, at one point was actually did come here at one point, but not the Florida. Basically, came to New York and a few places in the U.S. But he's since been returned to Egypt. I believe he's returned to his tomb, if I'm not mistaken. That, or he's in a museum in Egypt. But I'm rambling on about Tutankhamun. So basically, the whole thing is released this bacteria on this blimp, which the only way to make sure it doesn't explode over Kyoto was to drag it into frickin' space and then blow it up. Not a bad idea. They've done this several times since then where they only grow a virus and they're spreading out spread over the planet. So head to space. Perfectly fine. Yep. Faucet mask. His whole thing? Assassination. Yes, seriously. Assassination is his thing. And his job is to murder the Gorengers. Yeah. Because basically the plan is to try to assassinate people who are part of the World Conference related to scientific stuff. Yeah, that's simple what he's there for. And of course, the Rangers on vacation this one. And they get various, first attack is sort of rock at the. By the way, almost forgot to mention. Episode 55, we have a debut of a new Key Ranger. Because they do explain in the show that the original one has left the team due to, he didn't even tell his teammates. Apparently only the commander knew about this. Apparently he got a job in the Canto branch for Eagle to become an instructor. But he's not there very long. Don't worry, he'll be back. So his replacement for 13 episodes is a guy by the name of Diego Caminunu. Yes. Yeah, and he's not there very long. He's here for 13 episodes, and I will talk about basically what happens at the very end. And even after he was last seen, he does come back in a movie. Yep. Yeah, apparently he does come back one at a time. But he is the best way to describe the replacement Yellow Ranger. He's not much of an idiot like the other one tends to be. He's a bit more. He's a bit more. I would say he's a bit more naive. And by episode 58, he basically has this thing where he has trouble focus on the enemy, so he goes to training. Yep. But in the case of his other appearances that he makes here, well, he doesn't do a lot per se. When he first transforms, he has difficulty at first, and then later on he is able to. Well, how should I put this? He's able to basically able to transform. Yep. Yeah. Then right after the vacation episode that we have, Gorenger the Bomb Hurricane. Yep. And this debut of a monster who only appears just this very movie, Steel Sword Dragon. Now, I must have missed exact. Now, this movie is only 20 minutes compared to a regular episode of Gorenger, it was about 24 minutes. 25 minutes. This is 20 minutes, like a short. So, I also got to point out, they apparently put a lot of money in this movie because this movie looks freaking gorgeous. Yes. For something that came out in 1976. Yeah, a movie that's roughly almost 60 years old. Yeah, I'd say it's about 56 years old. It looks really good. It looks like it holds up after all these years. So part of this one is the Go Rangers plus 007. Oh, I should also point out, though, that in later episodes, Tamakru, the kid who popped up pretty much almost every episode that, well, when they have him pop up on screen, he didn't really do very much. Yeah, Toro himself, it's like basically like he just didn't really appear a lot. Mm-hmm. Because it seems as though seems like not long after they introduced the replacement ranger, he just basically just stopped appearing. It's like he very rarely ever does. Yeah, it's one of the most strangest things. Yeah. Um. So the plot of the other ones is simply this. Or in the case of the other one, just get their hands on Miss Out. That's simply put in the movie. Yeah, just basically just use the Miss Out to destroy several cities in Tokyo. Yes. Yeah. So in the case of episode 57, this is basically Pink Ranger infiltrating a city that's actually controlled by the Black Cross Army, which they found out by pure accident they were basically controlling the city because some of their gunpowder leaked into the river. And well, lucky enough that the monster of the episode, who is Burko Monster, he actually, well, yeah, and also this also starts something that the other Pink Rangers, a lot of them basically know what they're doing, being massive disguise in order to hide from the Black Cross Army, being a bride, a get this, like these are the words like a bride, a diver, a blonde foreigner, a a bearer, basically or a firefighter, and I think that's like, I'm trying to think what was the fifth one. Um, I think that was it. But this was actually really good. Really good world taking this one. This one is. Yep. But in the case 58, this starts a multi-part storyline that concludes episode 61. Well, it's all about building a fortress for building a new base for the Black Cross Army. Excuse me. And the job for them is to steal gold. Yep. And this also is a character piece for the new Yellow Ranger, where this is the episode revealed he had trouble focusing on an enemy. Then he, at one point, gets beaten by the enemy. After a pretty good fight with them, he actually able to focus on a pretty good one to get captured. And inadvertently, thanks to being captured, he able to find their base, not much an issue. And they able to free him. And, of course, the monster, who is not the Birdcomb monster, it's Portal Monster. At one point, this thing actually steals a wedding ring off a woman and, a golden cup. Now, here's the strange thing. Do the Rangers actually bother to return to the end of the episode? No. It's implied they may have, but they don't really do anything with it at all. Because they would discuss the credits afterwards. But yeah, nothing much else wrong with it. Basically, it's just really good episodes. And a good movie, too. I love the movie. Also, the movie had this noteworthy thing where the Blue Ranger fired his arrows at the Fuhrer, and he actually hit him. But didn't kill him. Nope. He just falls over and it disappears. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Cycler View. Stay tuned for my review for Case Close, because I'm going to do that next. Okay, next video. Bye.